So, what was the best marketing experience that you've ever had? Meaning, when a brand engaged with you and you knew you were being marketed to, what was that experience like? What made you excited and what did you learn from it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode of You're in Charge, Now What? I had a personal experience with my son. We went looking for colleges, and this university just killed it. So what did we learn? That's what we're going to share with you today. So let's dive into today's episode. Okay. So as I said, we are going to talk about the best marketing experience that I've run across in a while. So my son and I have been looking at colleges. He is a rising senior, as they call them. And so we've been looking at colleges. We've been to some colleges out in California. We've looked at some in Florida, and we decided to go on a trip down into the North Carolina, Virginia area. And we saw 6 colleges over the course of 3 days. So we had experiences in the morning, some presentations, then they would take you on a tour of the campus. And after a while, they all started to blend together. And I equate this, especially for those of you in the automotive space who follow me and also other businesses that I consult with, you're not unique. And I know that sometimes we feel we are, but a lot of times the product may or may not be that unique that it stands out. So it's what is that experience that wraps around your product that's going to be memorable. Many of you know I came up through the hospitality industry, and one of my mentors, one of the best lessons he ever taught me was that it is the experience around, in this case, the food. I worked in New York City, and he said, there are so many places that you could get a great steak. So it's not really the steak. Yes, it has to be tasty, but it is that experience that wraps around it. And more importantly, it has to be repeatable so that we make sure that the next round of customers who come in get that same experience, especially if they were recommended to our business by a previous customer. So now let's get back to this story. As we were getting to this one of the last colleges we went to, this morning or the 3 days that we were together, the experiences were blending together, as I said. And my son started to joke and make comments and say, oh, I wonder what they're going to claim they're number one in, or I bet you it's going to be very similar. We're going to go there. We're going to sit in a room. They're going to sit for a half an hour and tell us all of these different things. And then they're going to take us on a tour of the campus. Well, as we pulled into the last college that we went to, what was the first thing that stood out was what I'll call personalization. We pulled up to the gate. We checked in with the guard. They told us to go, exactly where we needed to go. But as we pulled into the parking space, there was an LED sign at the front of the parking space welcoming my son. So it said, welcome, William. And it said our town, Lawrenceville, New Jersey. So right off of the bat, we laughed and said, wow, they took extra time to personalize this experience, that they were expecting us. So think about that, especially in automotive, when someone's coming in for an appointment to look at a vehicle or to pick up their vehicle or even service their vehicle. Are you doing something that welcomes them in a very small way like that, to either have their name on a piece of paper on the vehicle, or someone greets them by their name? All of that personalization made you feel welcome. The barrier started coming down for us. Now, as we got out of the car, because we had some time for us to walk around and take a look at the campus before we went into what we expected to be this meeting that would take half an hour, as most of them did, we started walking around and we noticed the cleanliness. Yes, all of the institutions that we went to were, clean, but it was amazing. We started to joke that this felt almost like if Disneyland created a university campus, at Epcot, this is what it would look like, because it had banners, claiming, different things at how, we're number one here, or we're number this or whatever, but it wasn't ostentatious. It blended into the scenery. We then went to just creating this idea of this atmosphere. As we're walking around, we saw different signs with flags, which we found out later on were all of the countries that they had relationships with, where students could study abroad. But it was this atmosphere where they had classical music playing. They had different statues of leaders in the sidewalks. They had, quotes into the concrete. So everything, everywhere you looked around, it was visually pleasing. So again, going back to your business, when you're having your customers roll up into your business, is it clean? What's the atmosphere like? Is it well thought out? Are there signs showing where they should park, where they should walk, where they should enter? When they walk in, is it a pleasant atmosphere? Meaning, is there a buzz of energy? Is there some music playing? Are there people to greet them? All of those little things, unconsciously, we accept, and we just keep moving forward. So again, this is all part of marketing. I know sometimes when we say marketing, we just think of ads or signs or catchy phrases, but this is that idea of connecting the experience with what you're marketing. Because when we were doing research of this college, yes, of course, we're looking at the, our expectations of what it could be. But the reality when we went into this campus far exceeded, almost to the point where sometimes we're going, okay, this is crazy how wonderful this is. And again, we just started to keep moving through until we got into our time where we went in and checked in for our meeting. Interesting thing was, it was a smaller room. They sat us there. They offered us, they greeted us. Of course, they asked us, they connected with us in terms of, what would you like to drink? We have coffee, we have water, we have this. Is there anything we could get you right now? So they were really connecting and welcomed my son and connected with him on things that he submitted, right? The forms that he submitted, what he was thinking of studying, where he was from, some of the things that he did in terms of, being part of playing sports and basketball. They remembered. So again, this is very important, especially in automotive and a lot of businesses now, where we are submitting information or asking our customers to submit information online to us. Are we remembering it when they get there, right? So going back to what we talked about earlier, that personalization, recognizing who they are. Are we also recognizing what they're doing? Meaning sharing with us, they did all of this work. Are we recognizing it to make them feel that all of the work they did is valued and connected and personalized, and keep moving forward? So now the interesting thing is, of course, they did their video about, all of them have been very well done about, why you should come to this campus. A lot of testimonials from the students. So again, in your videos about your organization, your why buy, why service, who you are, making sure that you have testimonials from your customers, or even in this case, they had teachers saying why they taught there. Very similar. Why do your employees work there? Making sure that the whole environment is a great place to be, both for employees and for customers. So when we were doing this, they were really, really, really getting us excited about it. But this is where the key is. They stopped there. It was only maybe a 7-minute video. And then they said, let's go on to your tour. And they kept it very small. It was just ourselves and another family. And again, the experience. They thought of things that were different. Now, here it was in the summer, and it was hot in the 90s. And most campuses, you walk. They took you around here on golf carts. Again, something that stood out, creating that experience to make you go, wow, from the time that they greeted us, the personalization of the parking space, the atmosphere with the music, the cleanliness, when they brought you into the main hub where we were checking in, the fact that they knew who William was, they knew about him, they talked to him, they connected with him, they offered coffee and water. And then when they took us out on the tour, they took us out on golf carts. And the experience was phenomenal. And this was really the key. They sold us on the experience of being at that campus. They focused on what it would be like to live there, to study there. And the interesting thing was that when you went into the business center, because my son is thinking of studying business, when you went there, it looked like you were walking into a corporation or a business office. Everything looked different than just a usual building on a campus. And they said that's designed strategically so that when a student leaves this campus and they're going for an interview and they're in a boardroom in front of people, they've already experienced that. They've actually reverse engineered that whole idea of what the experience should be to prepare them. So same thing, are we reverse engineering what we want our customers to feel when they're done doing business with us? And then are we building all of those actions to deliver that? Are we thinking about the atmosphere? Are we thinking about the technology that we're asking our customers to use? Are we thinking about how our online experience connects to our in-store experience? This was, again, just example after example. When we went to the science building, it looked like you were entering a hospital or a high-tech science lab. So everything visually supported it. Their career center, when they were talking about how they deal with your resumes and they help you interview and they film you and they give you all of these tips, they actually had mannequins with different outfits to say, this is formal, this is business casual, this is. So again, they really thought through all of these experiences to help you get excited, let alone of course the cafeterias. They had something a little different. They had a sports bar area that was one of their cafeterias, but it looked different. And they had arcades and they had movie theater, all of the things that you'd want on campus. But the key was, and this is really the thing that I want to highlight, is they sold us the experience before they talked about price. Most of the other campuses, that was part of the beginning, is here's what the tuition is if you're in state or out of state, and here's how you would get your different potential financial aid, and this is what you had to do, and this is what you had to apply for, and here's how you could. And you could just see people thinking through that, myself included, as you start doing math in your head, but then you go out and you're starting to already prejudge the experience based on the price. Now, not to say that you didn't know what the cost of the university could be before you went to this university, but I'm just explaining this marketing experience had nothing to do with the pricing. They sold you on the experience. So then when you get to the very end and you're sitting there talking to them about the price, or you're talking to them about, what you're going to have to pay, if you ask those questions, you already have all of the features and the benefits in your brain. You're already going, well, that's worth it. Oh, I like that. Or you get excited about how this experience stands out against all the competition. So then when you actually look at price, you've already really doubled down on, look at how much I potentially am getting for that price versus someone else. So it's really important that we make sure that we're really focusing on that product, that experience. So again, going back to automotive, for all of my automotive friends who are listening, are you selling them the car, the features, the benefits? And yes, you'll get to price. But if from the moment they get out of the vehicle and they see a sign for where they should park, you recognize their name, you pick up where they left off, you're excited to show them this car, you're excited to let them ask questions, you're there to help serve, but you're selling that experience of doing business with you, yes, you'll get to the price. But I could see in my son's attitude, he was more engaged because they knew how to sell. They knew how to market to him what was important to him. Yes, it was the career. Yes, it's the work, but it's also, here's what your life would be like if you're living there. So again, I just think it was really fascinating to make sure that they're selling and marketing those features and benefits. And then when we got to the end, as I said, they never spoke about price at any time, ever. When we got to the end of it, they made sure that we had time designed into their program that you sat with somebody, an advisor, one-on-one, not in a group. And they answered my questions. I led the discussion. It was not a pitch or a marketing from them. They've already done the work. The atmosphere, the tour, everything around it, they believe sold you on them. So now I'm in a very relaxed atmosphere, meaning that person who's leading the discussion, they're just here to answer my questions. And I led that discussion. And it was really fascinating to feel that, again, one-on-one personalization. He knew about my son. He knew where we lived. He knew more about my son than the other schools did in that feeling of the one-on-one conversation versus, oh, introduce yourself. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me. They already knew that. And that, again, my son said, wow, they remembered me. They knew me. And then when they followed up, it was a personalized follow-up, a handwritten note from the young lady who gave us the tour and the gentleman who met with us. And he said, I'm going to be in your area in a couple weeks. I'd love to schedule time and meet with you again and answer any questions. So in summary, this marketing to us, I want to really highlight, it's not just the printed brochure they sent. It's not the website. And yes, the website's beautiful. It was everything connected. And when you got there, they thought through everything of how to stand out from all of their competition. And it really focused on the individual, personalizing it. A LED sign with a parking space with my son's name. He took a picture of it, sent it to his friends going, look at this. Those little things matter. The fact that it was clean, the fact that it was a pleasant atmosphere, the fact that they didn't pressure us, the fact that they asked us what we wanted to be comfortable, the fact that they remembered my son and spoke to him based on what he submitted versus asking him questions where he felt like he was just a number. He was, wow, they know who I am. That's important. That's part of marketing because that person, like my son, will now tell his friends. He couldn't stop talking about that experience to his friends, to my wife. He was just very excited at the fact of all of the things that happened. He talked about that experience and what they shared with him about the experience. So again, the marketing was not just a brochure. The marketing was built into those individuals, those living and breathing individuals. When they're interacting with us, they're answering questions. You could see they were excited. They were happy to show it off. They were happy for us to see this. So think about that for your business. Are your employees happy that customers are there? Are they excited to show them, in automotive's case, the vehicle or the fact that we're taking care of them? Are they going above and beyond to make that person feel valued through the actions that they're doing through your processes every single day? That is part of marketing. So I hope you found value. Please, if you found value, please share this out. I'm sure there's people in your network that could benefit from this because I don't think we think about this as much as we should. We think of marketing and experience as two separate things, marketing and staff, marketing and processes, when in reality, they have to connect because what you're selling to somebody in terms of marketing to get them engaged with you, if you're not delivering on it, that's a huge disconnect, or you just blend into everyone else. So again, don't forget to rate the episode. Please subscribe so you don't miss any ones. We're here every single week to help you become a better leader, both personally and professionally, to really learn skills to help you improve your performance. That's our goal. Next week, we'll be back with some more interviews. I have some great guests coming up in the next few episodes, so I hope you'll join us. As I said all the time, I really do appreciate you being part and watching this. I know there's a lot of tons of other places that you can go listen to content, but the fact that you spent time with me is I just truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And remember, you're in charge. So whenever you feel, I don't know what to do, what should I do? We're here every single week to help you out. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you again.